Welcome. We are doing Flashback Friday, where I perform a review on a classic movie or a film from way back when. I am reviewing one of Eddie Murphy's movies, The Golden Child, so let's get right into it. When we first go in, you immediately know it's an 80s movie, or at the very least, a movie done in the 20th century, with our focus moving back and forth between an adorable, highly esteemed kid with the power to heal and warrior-looking men walking through the snow. And all of this later discovered to be in northeastern Tibet. Turns out, the men that we see are bad men as they storm into the temple where the babe is, uninvited, without consent, and harming the temple people. They place the kid in a cage, validating that they are bad people who deserve to be in prison for this. Everything switches fully to Eddie Murphy, who we all know from his popular works. His character, Chandler, is a detective who specializes in seeking out missing children. He tries to be diligent using the medias he has access to, since this time period predates social networking sites. He posts flyers around and goes on a show to spread awareness, despite that very TV show seems a bit low budget. He takes the initiative to make it less low budget with trying to assist in finding missing 16-year-old girl. Cheryl, a woman named Ki Nong, attempts to approach Chandler about the young boy from earlier, played by l.reate. She speaks of prophecy and all, but he doesn't believe. He finds the missing girl, but doesn't find her alive. Nevertheless, there's some clues at the crime scene he uses to try to investigate further on who harmed her. It turns out Cheryl's death is connected to the missing boy. The kidnappers are trying to keep symbols of evil around the boy to ensure he can't use all his powers and whatnot. Basically, these are sinister, shameful people who are trying to use a child for personal corrupt gain. Key takes Chandler to get some answers, such as that the boy is a type of golden child who's born every 1,000 generations, with a chosen one who's connected to the boy. We see precious sweet babe being harassed by these sinister people, but he shows out with his capabilities. He refuses to be bullied and intimidated. Go ahead, youngin. Chandler gets a spiritual or astral visitation of some sort from the child. Soon after, Chandler gets a tip about Cheryl's whereabouts before her death. In the process of casing a place, Chandler gets caught and restrained, but Key comes in and saves him. Despicable and vile people residing in the place had sold Cheryl to a Tommy Tong. As they try to find the Tommy Tong guy, he gets taken out by his own boss, Sardo. And that boss, Sardo, seems to be a demon of some sort, or a supernatural creature, and he's working for a bigger demon he calls Lord. Then, Chandler gets transported somewhere in his sleep to come face to face with Sardo. Sardo tries to talk with Chandler about the dagger and whatnot, but he's not really feeling the conversation, seeing it as nothing but a dream. They try to intimidate him, rough him up a bit, but he wakes up, making another visit to the 300-year-old librarian lady, Kala, and the good Dr. Hong. Outside of Eddie Murphy, I saw James Hong, where he stays working. Love to see him in here. She convinces Chandler to go with her to Tibet. We see the innocent babe is thriving in his surviving. Chandler runs into a guy who swindles him a little, and it turns out that the guy is the exact person Chandler and Key are looking for to give the dagger to them. He says that he can have the knife if Chandler is pure of heart enough. So, Chandler goes on a path, and he's supposed to stick to the path, keep his thoughts pure to get the dagger from the flames. Then we see Chandler with the older man about the path of marriage, only to discover the man is Key's father. He says something about magnificent Americans with so much power, and I felt he was reaching there a bit since it was such a general statement, but to each his own. When they land back in America, the demon-like boss Sardo is there, thinking he's setting up Chandler with the concept of getting arrested, but Chan got something for him with the willingness to go to jail, since then the guy wouldn't be able to get the knife. He outsmarts him, with Sardo being pressed about it. So pressed, he gets the jump on Key and Chandler. Key is handling her business, but had to make a quick decision to save Chandler, because Chandler was all inexperienced with no fighting skills, as is common for someone part of law enforcement. This movie was getting into the real stuff. Key sacrifices herself to save him, professing her love for him on her dying breath. The librarian lady lets him know he can save Key if he saves the child who can bring Key back to life. In his anger, he sees proof of supernatural forces that are at work, so he makes haste to reach the youngin. The babe plays some mojo on one of the bad guys, so the bad guy is serving as a minion. Chandler reaches the child, frees the sweet one. They make their escape, but Chandler lets the demon boss know he's there and freed the kid, which wasn't the wisest thing to do since he transforms and attempts to catch them. The sweet one helps with moving things along, but the Sardo guy catches up with Chandler, and Chandler is forced to fight him in his demon form. We, the audience, think the demon is gone as Chandler, with the kid in hand, reaches Key's body, but then the demon pops out of nowhere to fight again. The kid helps Chandler win, revives Key, along with a thumbs up at a job well done. honestly, it's a good thing it's called The Golden Child because baby was handling it and doing a lot of work. It had taken Chandler a while to believe in things. Without the one bad guy being under the kid's influence, I don't know how Chandler would have gotten the little sweet one out of the cage, or how he would have started the car because he somehow lost the keys, or how he would have gotten the dagger from across the room to stab the demon boss Sardo. This is the real hero of the story. Baby Boo saved himself. As a child, the acting skills were superb. Better than most adults. She was doing it in here playing this little boy. Never would have thought Key would get with Chandler. I thought maybe at the end, but it was in the middle of the story that they got together, and I never saw that coming. It was fun seeing this film from beginning to end because I never have done that before or knew about the Key character. She was handling herself. Charlottelewis brought it. She was doing the flips, the kicks, the everything. I was like, get it now. I thought Eddie was real chill in this film, and I noticed he really didn't do all that much action in relation to kicks and flips because he's a comedian. He didn't bother with that. I respect it though. He's Eddie Murphy. He really just needed to show up. That's more than enough. It's what encouraged me to watch it in the first place because he's in it. The film was cool, but definitely more for its time, given one or two poor taste in jokes. I give it a 9 out of 10. Very chill. That's just my take on it, but feel free to leave comments about how you felt about the movie, what your thoughts were on it. Was it one of your favorites Eddie's ever done? Let me know. That's all for today. Stay tuned.